So first job, I just need to see what I've got, what I haven't got, what's workable, what's not workable, what I need to upgrade, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to try and take as much of the engine apart as I can now, and we'll see what that brings us. Well, without knowing too much, the hub looks okay. The splines inside look quite strong. I'm sure the braking surfaces can be cleaned up. Oh no, scrap all that. I think it looks like there's a piece has broken away. Yeah, so that's actually split, so I'm definitely going to need a rear hub. So we'll put that on the list straight away. The kickstart looks okay, but we'll have to wait and see on that. It all looks a bit grim in there, but I'm going to replace the clutch anyway, that's okay. I'm going to be replacing the chain and the chain tensioners. And basically I'm just going to have to kind of strip it all down, see what I can use, but also bearing in mind that I'm probably going to replace a lot of it anyway. I've just pinged the clutch off, no great dramas. I'm still waiting on the proper tools to be able to do it properly, but it was no hassle about taking it off. I'm wondering whether it might be better in the long run and a bit cheaper to get a donor engine and then either base the new engine around these casings or base it around a donor engine. There might be a bit too much work on this one, or just work that could be an awful lot easier with a donor engine. So I'll keep chipping away and take things off, and then I can make decisions as and when I'm ready to make decisions. I've actually delved a little bit further into the clutch and it's not as bad as the outside bits were. I've just loosened off the nut, so we'll try and get that off. Maybe salvageable. Don't think that chain will be salvageable though. So the end plate looks pretty grim, so I'm going to get that off next. Trying to do these so carefully because they look a bit grim. If I can get this off without doing any damage to the threads, that will be a bonus. It will at least help me with making a decision as to whether I reuse the engine or not. need to lift off the end plate, I can use some M6 bolts to push them through, but I'm just going to quickly make sure the threads are okay. Feels pretty good. Plenty of crud, but it might not all be cruddy. Yuck. These gears are all looking a little bit grim, as is the lay shaft gear selector. Having said that, if it's all surface and I can clean it all up, then we'll see. That might be just surface rust on that, perhaps. Right, just the shaft out. Oh, there's the other ball. One of the balls went pinging across the room. Just going to keep all the bits together for the time being. Just going to get the chain guides off. So, taking the mag housing off, a major issue. A big chunk of it is seized inside there and just split away. So maybe this engine isn't the one to work with, I don't know. Maybe I can use some of the parts. Actually looks pretty rough, but I've had a really good look around. I've taken all the studs out, everything's coming out fine. Inside it's just nice and oily, it'll all clean up. Very pleased with that. I've already had a good go at the side case, and that's starting to come up really nice. All the studs have come out, everything's tickety-boo on that. Well, there was an old gasket left on here on the mating surface, which I've just taken off, and it's actually meant it's really good mating surface on that, so that's a bit of a bonus. The inside will clean up really well. I think I'll get some petrol on it or something and then jet wash it after, so that's coming along quite well. a very therapeutic hour. I've tapped out every single thread on both sides of the engine casing, so all these M7s in here, the mostly M6s, a couple of M8s and more M6s, there's more over here, there's M8s there, M6s there, all around there, and I've done the same on the side casing as well. Were there any on there? Oh yes, there was some in there where the kickstart ramp goes. Done these big ones here where the drain plugs are, the oil fill. So that should make the assembly infinitely easier. Something I didn't really do as well on the Vespa. So next job, I just want to make this look a bit more presentable, so I'm going to have a look how I might do it. Inside's absolutely spot on, don't need to do anything in there at all, or result. I want to sand down very carefully, get this mating surface as smooth as possible. Same on the side case, although I have put the two together and they do seem to match really well. So there's the next day or so sorted. So what we're doing here is we're going through all of the various bits from inside the engine which I think are reusable. They're looking really good nick, they've cleaned up really nicely. So I'm just trying to identify all the different little bits. I've got various clutch sprockets, gear clusters, I've got gear shims which I've now measured. I'm using the Stickies book in order to work out which washer or which shim is which one on here. And then the clever bit, I've gone through and basically that is every single component you need to build the engine. So what I'm doing now, basically what I did, I went through the book and every single element that was put into the engine, watched a few videos as well, and I've written it all down. So what I'm going to do now is go through all of these and give it a tick, either yes I've got one, that's sorted, or no tick means I've then got to buy one to put the engine together. I was going to have to buy a load of different bits for inside the engine anyway, because I'm going to upgrade to a slightly bigger capacity, therefore need a stronger crank. I'm going to use different gearing, so that's where we're at. So we've got a bit of a logistics exercise today, and then it's going to be a case of getting on and ordering a load of parts, then we can start rebuilding. There we have it. So we've sussed out what I've got and what I need. So now I just need to go shopping. Oh, it's like Christmas. So we've had quite a productive week. We've done, the engine case is about as clean as I can get them now, and I'm happy. The insides are lovely and clean in there, but I've got the two mating surfaces done really quite nicely, and then I've been doing a lot of polishing and buffing and doing the best I can on the outsides, and they actually now look really quite presentable. So I'm pretty chuffed with all of that. They still look old and used, but they'll look great I think on the scooter now. Cleaned out all the kind of bearing contact points inside where the mag housing and the crank's gonna go. Sorted all down at this end, so happy with all of those. With the hope of being able to use the gearbox again. I had the gearbox and various components soaking in spirit vinegar for a few days, and that looks like it's really cleaned it all off. So I'm going to take those out now and give them a really good clean, and then hopefully we'll be able to use those again. And they've all come out pretty well. I'm going to spend a bit of time with the wire brush and see if I can get them in a fit state to be able to use. So, give them all a clean. We're going to rinse them and then I've got to dry them fast. Right then, let's see how these have all come up. You know what? More than happy. Good to go. Need to take that bearing out, bit of a priority. Gears. Happy with that. So, next job, got to get these dried, brush them down a little bit, maybe a little bit of polishing to get the worst of it off, sanding maybe. But pleased with that. I think they're all good to go. If it gets too dark, I'm just taking out the silent blocks. Quickly done that one. I'm going to do this one. Basically got to heat up around the engine casing, put the colour on, basically a big fancy tube, put a bolt on there, wind the bolt, sorry, put a nut on there, wind the bolt in, and that will pull the silent block out. There we go. Silent blocks out. A little job done. I think we're now in a position, rather excitingly, to start rebuilding the engine. So I've got the cases nice and clean and all the threads have been tapped out, so they're all good to go. I've bought all the bits I think I need. So those are the ones I'm going to reuse from the original engine, and I've got a load of stuff in that box there, I've got another load of stuff in there, and I've got some more stuff in there, and underneath there we've got a box full of the various tools that I need in order to put it together. So armed with my trusty book and with a whole load of videos, the next video is actually going to be to start rebuilding the engine. I think the first job will be to put in new silent blocks, because I can do that. It's probably easier to do that without all the other stuff in the way. And then I'm going to redo the gearbox end first, I think. So that'll be the next video.